WTVN.com. To the live line now, we find Emily Taylor. Emily is a gun ownership expert, and I see that you work with an organization called U.S. Law Shield as a program attorney. Emily, give me the thumbnail. What's U.S. Law Shield about?
U.S. Law Shield is a legal defense for self-defense program. So for a small monthly fee, members with U.S. Law Shield have a free attorney, essentially, for anything that could come from a self-defense incident, either criminal charges or a civil suit that might be the fallout.
That's one of those things, too. I mean, there seems to be gun news almost every day, whether you look over at New Zealand, the aftermath of the mosque attacks, how Australia viewed what they did, people in this country, saying, hey, I like what they did, or this is the end of guns as we know it and all that kind of stuff. Today, you want to talk a little bit about bump stocks. There's a move in this country, and it started yesterday, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So as of midnight yesterday, any bump stock in your possession is nuclear. You have to destroy it or surrender it, or you're facing a federal crime.
Is that something that the authorities would know? Anybody who owns one of those has it?
So no. So that's one of the interesting parts, is that we don't actually know how many bump stocks are in circulation because they don't have serial numbers. They're not trackable, traceable like the receiver of a firearm is. But if you get yourself caught because, let's say, you've got one in your car, you get pulled over, and you give the officer some consent or some reason to search you, you're going to be in trouble.
So when you look at that as an attorney with U.S. Law Shield, if somebody that's paying you that monthly stipend and, wants you in their corner, if they're caught with one of these, is there any defense at all or no?
No, unfortunately there isn't. Now, that being said, I think that this regulation made bump stocks illegal is unconstitutional, unlawful. I hope against hope that there are going to be courts, although challenges have failed thus far, who are going to eventually say that the government cannot do this to us, that it's an unlawful taking without just compensation, that the ATF can't make law, they can only interpret, but we have to wait and see. So for now, there is no defense to this crime.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When you talk about legality in this country, it's all based on precedent, and this is currently being appealed. So it seems likely that in the near future there's going to be a case, and then that person involved is going to take that case, and if they have the means and the wherewithal, eventually gets to the Supreme Court, and then we get the precedent setter, right?
Absolutely. And there's actually a challenge pending, an emergency, 11th hour challenge still pending with the Supreme Court right now, just from our initial denials of, what we call a preliminary injunction. But that challenge is sitting with Justice Sotomayor. So I don't think that she's any friend to guns or gun rights. So I wouldn't hold my breath. Yeah,
so there are people, too, that grew up with guns. In our area, certainly there are people that have guns in safes. They use them for hunting and sport, clay shoots, whatever it is. And when they hear stories like this, they get concerned about incrementalism. I mean, in your mind, is this another one of those things? They're going to take this away, and then what is going to be the next thing that they're going to try to take away?
Absolutely. And this should worry everyone. It should worry people who don't have bump stocks. It should worry people who don't even own guns, because what's happened here is instead of Congress passing a law, we've got the ATF at the direction of the president, which is disturbing because we had hoped this president was going to be more pro-Second Amendment and pro-gun. We have the ATF essentially legislating for us because Congress didn't make this law. They have reinterpreted the definition of machine gun, and they've done something that, as an attorney, I have never seen happen in this country, which is take the thing that was completely legal when you bought it, turn it into an illegal item, and then refuse to compensate you for the hundreds of dollars you spent on it. It is outrageous, and it's a slippery slope.
Yeah, and in your sense, anybody who owns one of these right now, because as you said earlier, really untraceable, people don't know if you have one or not, do you think most of the people that own them are going to turn them in voluntarily or destroy them, or do you think they're just going to hang on to them, use them the way they've used them, and just hope they don't get caught?
That's a good question. As an attorney, I have to advise that you destroy it because you know, when I tell people it's okay to commit crimes, that's one of the things I take my law license away for. But that being said, I'm sure there are many, many people who are just going to lay low and sit tight and, you know, see what happens.
And yeah, maybe wait for that appeal to come through. Emily, I appreciate the conversation and perspective much. Emily Taylor, she's a gun ownership expert, independent program attorney with U.S. Law Shield.